Scammer gets 16 years in prison in the United States. Meanwhile, a man has been detained for questioning in connection with a series of bomb threats in Jamaica. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. A man has been detained for questioning in connection with a series of bomb threats which was issued Thursday and Friday. He was picked up on Friday evening during a police operation. Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey confirmed that 71 institutions, mostly schools, were affected by bomb threats across 2 days, Thursday and Friday. A hospital and a court building were also among those targeted on Friday. DCP Bailey said the man, who is now in police custody, was arrested in relation to the threats made on Friday. A Jamaican national was on Thursday sentenced to 16 years imprisonment for his role in a fraudulent sweepstakes scheme that targeted elderly victims in the U.S. Damon Oakley, 41 of St. James, Jamaica, was convicted in federal court in Scranton in Pennsylvania in the United States. Oakley was extradited to the U.S. in 2022 and pleaded guilty in July of this year to 2 counts of mail fraud and 2 counts of wire fraud. Officials said the scheme ran from at least 2010 through 2019. That was 9 years of money making and flossing. And if he was arrested and sentenced in Jamaica, the longest sentence he probably would receive is about 3 months to 6 months or none at all. But Uncle Sam not ramping with them at all. Meanwhile, tragedy struck on Saturday when a boat carrying a group of beachgoers capsized on the rough seas along the coast of St. Mary. Reports are that sometime after 2 p.m., a group at the Strawberry Fields Together establishment was approached by a man offering boat rides at a cost of $4,000. A number of patrons, primarily from a larger group, a part of a bus trip visiting the location from Kingston, reportedly took up the man's offer. Shortly after leaving from the shore, the boat was observed capsized and a rescue effort was launched with other boaters, which also includes a helicopter. Upon coming ashore, at least 3 women were observed crying, and it's understood that 9 people were aboard the vessel, including the captain. 6, including the boat owner, was rescued, but a woman who was in the boat is still missing and is presumed drowned. A man suspected of committing a triple murder in Montego Bay, St. James last month was fatally shot and an illegal firearm seized on Princess Street late Friday evening. His identity has not been released, and it's reported that about 7:30 the St. James operational team responded to a request for assistance from members of the Quick Response Unit as they were in the process of apprehending a man who had been seen with a firearm. The man was reportedly driving a motorcycle and ignored the command of the police to stop. The chase ended on Princess Street when the man allegedly opened fire at the police and he was shot. He died at hospital. Investigators believe that the man was a suspect being sought in connection with a recent shooting in St. James. 3 men were killed in October 10 attack at Sam Sharp Square, where people had gathered for a vigil. 2 men were gunned down and another injured in Gregory Park in St. Catherine on Saturday night. The deceased have been identified as Cedric Crooks, 46, also known as Gungu, and 47-year-old Michael Manley, also known as Bada Bada, both of Gregory Park. Reports are that 3 men were at a bar in the area when they were pounced upon by a lone gunman who opened fire at them. Crooks and Manley reportedly both received gunshots to the head. The other man was shot in the chest. The suspect escaped in the area on foot. The police have not yet released a motive for that killing. Meanwhile, a popular jerk chicken vendor was reportedly shot dead during an armed robbery at his jerk stand along the Landila Main Road in Savlamar, Westmoreland on Sunday morning. He has been identified as 41-year-old Errol McDonald, otherwise called Jerky. The police said that about 12:30, McDonald and a teenage boy were at his jerk stand when a motorcycle with 2 men approached them. The pillion rider disembarked and pointed a firearm at them and robbed them of 2 cellular phones and an undetermined sum of cash. The gunman then reportedly opened fire, hitting McDonald in the head before escaping. The police were summoned, and on arrival, McDonald was seen lying in a pool of blood. He was transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. And this is just another senseless killing. And the funny thing is that when these killers are caught and brought before the judge, he also gives them bail, and then when it comes to sentencing, he gives them about 5 years or none at all. On to sports. In the CONCACAF Nations League, Jamaica and Guatemala played to a 0-0 draw in New Jersey. Jamaica had played with only local and U.S. players. Meanwhile, in Premier League, Tivoli Gardens beat Arnett Gardens 3-1. Mount Pleasant was also 3-1 winners over Malines United. Portmore beat Dunbeholden 2-0. Treasure Beach were 1-0 winners over Lime Hall. while Veer United and Montego Bay played to a 1-1 draw. On to schoolboy football in the Docasa Cup, where only teams are left standing in the quarterfinals. In Group 1, which consists of holders Clarendon College, Glenmore High, Manchester High and Christiana, defending champions Clarendon College and former winners Glenmore booked the first two spots in the semifinals after contrasting wins over Manchester High and Christiana High respectively on Saturday. Clarendon College were 4-0 winners over Manchester High, while Glenmore edged Christiana High 1-0 as both registered back-to-back wins in the quarterfinals and are at the top of Group A, both on 6 points, and will meet on Tuesday to decide group honors. In Group 2, which have BB Coke, Dintil Tech, Cornwall College, and Garvey Maceo, Dintil Tech meanwhile took charge of Group B with a stunning 3-0 beating of previously unbeaten Garvey Maceo and also improved to 6 points, while BB Coke High all but ended Cornwall College ambition with a hard-fought 2-1 win at Jarrett Park. Dintil now have 6 points, while BB Coke and Garvey Maceo both have 3 points. The top two teams in each group will qualify for the semifinals and the first round of the President's Cup knockout, with the other 4 teams joining the Ben Francis knockout at the second stage. On Tuesday, the final games will play in this final 8 and will know the other 2 places to join Clarendon College and Glenmore. Garvey Maceo will play Cornwall in the final game, while Dintil will face BB Coke. Meanwhile, the quarterfinals of the Manning Cup is now over. In Group 1, which have Stets, Mona, Casey, and St. Catherine, we saw heavy favorites and former champion St. Andrew Technical. They have been knocked out of the competition after going down 2-0 to Mona High in their final Group 1 match on Friday at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. Rabina Gordon put Mona ahead in the 7th minute, and that was extended by Denzel McKenzie in the 21st minute to book their spot in consecutive Manning Cup semifinals. Mona ended with 4 points from 1 win and 2 draws. St. Andrew Technical were suffering their second straight defeat and finished bottom of the 4 group standing with 3 points from 1 win and 2 losses. Meanwhile, Kingston College earned the second spot under dramatic condition after going down 2-1 to St. Catherine High at the Spanish Town Prison Oval. KC went down to 10 players in the first half and were trailing 2-0 and looked down and out of contention. However, they found a consolation in stoppage time to finish second. KC had drawn 1-1 with Mona. They beat Stats 1-0 to gain 4 points. Now they lose to St. Catherine, who end with 3 points. In Group 2, which had JC, St. George's, Heidel, and Tivoli, in the top of the table clash, St. George's sent Jamaica College packing after they played to a 1-1 draw. George's had a win and 2 draws to end with 5 points, while JC had 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss to end with 4 points. Heidel meantime clapped Tivoli 3-1 to top the group. Heidel had 2 wins and a draw to end on 7 points. So now it's on for the semifinals, which will see Mona will face St. George's, while KC will play Heidel. And don't forget that the best Manning Cup and Doncaster Cup reports takes place on this radio station. If you missed the news, go to Jamaican Undiluted on YouTube. Listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's news and sports on your favorite station. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.